And welcome back everyone, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the hardest career series. Today's episode will be test flying the next version of the Strato carrier, which we mentioned at the end of the previous episode. So this is the K52B-J, jet powered. So take a look at it in the aircraft hangar, and then we'll head over to Desert Airfield and begin today's test flight. I'm going to see if we can get to 10 kilometers and hold at that altitude. Okay, so back in the aircraft hangar, it's K52B-J. So we've got rid of the propeller engines and replaced them with jet engines, TFE731. We've also changed the bogies, as you can see. The forward bogies are a lot larger. Hopefully, it should bring the nose up a little bit further on the runway. We've also got some guidance lights, which I forgot all about. So we've got red on the port side, and on the starboard side we have green. Okay, we've also changed the centre of mass, brought the two pylons holding first the rocket plane and the counterweight at the other side back a little bit. So it's affected the centre of mass of benefit. As you can see, it's slightly closer. Well, it's a lot closer together actually. It's got 1.10 at the runway. Let's go up to about Mach 0.5. I've also increased the size of the wings as well, as I said. It's about 10 kilometers. We still should have enough. 121.85 kilonewtons of thrust. Only represents 0.27, but we've kept things in the air with less TWR than that. Because it's nearly 4 hours worth of flight time. Exactly what I said. You need to taste with a very large pinch of salt. So yeah, we've made the wings a little bit larger. Hopefully we'll be able to hold. As long as we don't have another failure, things should go quite smoothly. Turn the pitch off on those. Okay, so for the mission itself, obviously we're going to try to get to 10 kilometers in the hold. But also we're going to be simulating a failure in the rocket plane. So either a fuel leak, liquid fuel or oxidizer, which you don't carry anywhere on the aircraft that's set from the rocket plane. So if we have a leak of that, and if we do get to repair the tank, we couldn't really fully oxidize the tanks. Any other failure, basically, we're going to be simulating. So what we need to do is we need to head out, go to the altitude that we've released the aircraft at, then say, oh dear, something's broken on here, and we need to bring the whole thing back, the rocket plate and the counterweight, because when someone's in this cockpit, you can't just get them out and get them to hop in here, and vice versa, obviously. That would be cheating, and we don't cheat. So we need to simulate a failure on this, so we need to bring this back safely, and the counterweight as well, obviously. Okay, so a few things to test. So head out to the runway at the desert runway, and we will join the crew and begin to take today's test flight. Okay, so we're at the desert airfield once again. The K52B-J. We have a new crew member. His name is Sigvi, and as you can see by his facial hair, he likes jazz. Okay, so let's take a quick look. We saw this in the previous video, I believe. We've got various positions in this particular bomber cockpit. So we've got Val and Ray, and then we've got Sigvi's position, which is like the bombardier, I suppose, or the forward gunner. We hasn't got a gun. Okay, so that's Sigvi. As I said, he likes jazz, as you can see. I don't know what Val and Ray like doing in their spare time. Okay, let's go. SS on, so we're going to head to brakes off. Going to head to altitude and see and get to 10 kilometers. and also get the rocket plane back and its counterweight. Not quite lined up on the runway there. Okay, here we go. Ah, there we go. Excellent. No input from me whatsoever, or from the two pilots. Climbing nicely. Okay, gear up. Much better. Okay, so we're up to about 5 kilometres. Check the performance, and then we'll slowly head to 10 kilometres. As always, we shall head 90 degrees towards KSC, that's the Space Centre. Okay, so about 5 kilometres, 5,000 metres. The engines are performing better, which is obvious. 4 jet engines compared to 4 propeller engines. You're going to get better performance, especially altitude. So I've locked in 200 metres a second into the auto throttle arm. We are heading towards KSC. We're at 200 metres a second, and you can see the throttle arm is coming down. So that's much better. So obviously the combination of the larger wings, larger main wings, and the jet engines are giving us better performance. The wings could be much larger, but I think I'll probably have to make my own. And I like the look of these, they're quite good. Okay, so I've had actually no failures this time. No control surfaces, and the reaction wheel's working fine. Which is a good job, because Sigvi, he's got no experience, so he's not going to be much use, he's just along for the ride. Unless a light bulb needs changing, I suppose. Okay, so we're going to carry on climbing to about 7.5 kilometres and see how the performance is up there. And then they take it nice and easy. About 10 metres a second, still on the same line, heading 90 degrees. Okay, so we've just arrived at 7,500 metres, 7.5 kilometres. It's still accelerating up towards about 190 metres a second, so we've lost well over 10 metres a second. We was climbing up until a few seconds ago. Because it's starting to come back up again. Okay, so we'll let this accelerate back up to whatever its maximum speed is. Then we'll head up another 500 metres to about 8 kilometres and check it there. We're going 500 metre stages. If it seems to be okay, we'll carry on climbing. Okay, so we are at 9,000 metres, 9 kilometres. Aircraft is still accelerating slightly, 186 metres per second. And to get up here, we had to empty an entire radial fuel mount out. Not an issue. Obviously we want to start with more fuel than we actually need. We can always dump it as we just have done. It's a bit different if you start with too fewer or too little fuel, and that's a different story. Okay, so I think 9,000 meters is about the max we want to be getting to. There's plenty of altitude for this to do its job. Okay, so we're about halfway between the desert airfield and KSC. It's roughly about where we want to be releasing the rocket plane at. So right now we have now got a simulated fault on the rocket plane's engine. the engine won't fire. So that's a failure. So now we need to abort the flight and head either back to the desert airfield or over to KSC. So we're going to opt for the latter. We're 45 minutes away. We have plenty of fuel. So we'll head back to KSC and see exactly how this aircraft handles fully loaded with both of these attached to the wing still. Okay, so I've got the ILS guidance, as you can see, part of Kerbal constructs. So I've got this up. Well, we can't use the brakes too much. Switch that to ground speed. It's still rather sharp on these controls. We want a little bit more. Okay, 500 meters. Whoa. Yeah, it's very sharp on the pitch control. Didn't actually want it to do that. Yeah, trying to fly an aircraft with SAS on isn't exactly ideal. Okay, 400 meters. It is very, very wallowy. But the control surfaces are very, very, very sharp. And it doesn't help when it's just not responding when it comes to roll. Back to where it was before. Okay. Yeah, as soon as I start trying to... Whoa, what on earth's going on there? As I try and pitch up, it's running over. I'll turn the forward bogies braking off. As we saw before in the propeller version, it just tried to flip over on the nose. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh. Oh. Phew. Okay. So I had something fail just then, but it's also... What happened? What happened? Tail wing let us over the stuck control surface. Did that happen before or after we touched down? Yeah, no. Okay, so a bit of a hairy landing there. Got down in one piece and recovered the aircraft from here just before we hit the beach. Okay, so that control surface did fail before we touched down. That's why when we pitched back, it rolled over to the right. So I noticed that straight away. So obviously it must have been a delayed report, or I just didn't notice it appear. Okay, never mind. Everything else worked fine. So 9,000 meters is probably the maximum we can get to. At least to keep forward momentum going with the engines. Dumping a bit of fuel did help. But I think 8,000 meters is probably about the service ceiling of what we need to... We can achieve about 200 meters a second at 8 kilometers. About an hour into the flight. Okay, fully recovered though. And Sigvi has gained an experience point. Only one. Well, that's fine. And he's got a ribbon. Landing on Kerbin ribbon. Yeah, only just. Awarded for landing on Kerbin. It could have been a splashdown actually. Okay. Not too bad. So I think that clears the Strato carrier to take the KX1B up to 8 kilometers. I'm going to release it. I'm going to test it in the very next episode. That's what I'll be doing next episode. I'm going to drop that rocket plane from underneath the wing of the Strato carrier. Alright, but that's the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to click like. It's appreciated. Also, if you do enjoy the content, clicking the subscribe button and sharing the content is extremely appreciated. As always, if you want to leave a comment to ask a question, you're more welcome to do so. But please remember, I do have a moderator saying we'll go through the comments before they're enabled and also sent to me if they need an answer. So sometimes it can take a while. If I do miss your comment, do apologise beforehand. Alright, don't forget we have Discord, Facebook and Twitter. You find links to all three of those platforms on the banner on the front page of the channel. Alright, once again, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next episode. In the meantime, as always, take care and bye-bye.